Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For 10 long months, the finest players on the planet have crisscrossed the globe in search of glory. But in our great sport, all roads always lead right back here to Yorkshire and the City of Steel. Sheffield's 17-day marathon is upon us, so let battle commence at the Crucible. At last, it's time for the 2025 Halo World Snooker Championship. Come on! Great to be back. Please welcome a player making a 5th appearance at the Crucible after a 10-9 late-night thrilling victory over Jimmy Robertson at the qualifiers. Indian Open champion, Turkish Masters runner-up. He will relish the atmosphere and the challenge today. Here comes Matthew Selt. And his opponent, returning to the Crucible for the first time in 7 years after what is without doubt the most successful season of his career. 3 major semi-finals, runner-up at the Champ of Champs and his maiden title in Wuhan in the autumn. And to top it all, he got married last month. He's on fire, on and off the table. Please welcome Xiao Guodong. On table 1, what a season and what a moment for this hugely talented 21-year-old. He stormed to the Scottish Open crown in December, and this week he came through a 10-9 thriller to secure a maiden appearance on the biggest stage of all. So come on, Sheffield, here we go, walking down these famous carpeted stairs for the very first time, China's Li Pei Fan. And finally, to a man who has been riding the crest of a Crucible wave for 12 months, following up victory here with 5 finals and 4 titles in an almost flawless season so far. Could he do it again? Let's find out. Here he comes, the reigning, defending champion of the world, the warrior, Kyron Wilson.
Thank you. It's the first frame. Xiao Guodong.
Well, good morning, everybody. Oh, at last we're underway. Xiao Guodong against Matthew Selt. Oh, Shaun Murphy alongside me in the commentary box. It's just great to get going, isn't it? What a build-up all week.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. Good morning, and good morning, everybody tuning in for day 1 of this year's World Championship. It's an excellent first red from Matthew Selt. Wasn't the greatest break-off from Xiao Guodong, has to be said. That red wouldn't have normally been on, but this is a lovely chance to get settled in the first frame. Total miss hit there from Matt. He actually played the cannon into the cluster. That went completely wrong. So that was a really good chance to knock some balls in and get used to his surroundings, the table, and being out there in the Crucible. But he'd be disappointed to have only made 4 from
Selt, 4.
That early chance.
Well, it was a fantastic opening red, but lost position. Incredible late night drama against Jimmy Robertson on Wednesday night. Matt Selt took the last of the Judgment Day places. Shaun, what are the last few days like in the lead up to the championship? Great cue ball there by Xiao Guodong, by the way. It just seems to drag from our point of view, but from a player's perspective, even worse, I imagine.
Yeah, you just spend your time just thinking about it. You know, you get in your own head, and you know, you're excited, nervous, all of those things collide, and in the end, you're just desperate to get out there and play. So in some ways, you know, it's great to be out there on the first morning. You don't have to sit and watch everybody else. You get out there, you know, whoever comes through this match is into the second round draw, and they get to wait the best part of a week before they go again. Nice to watch everyone else twitch for a few days. Selt is an extremely good tactical player, possibly underrated in that regard. Obviously, all the pros are good in all departments, otherwise they wouldn't be on the tour, certainly wouldn't be here at the Crucible. But he's very strong in the tactical department, doesn't lose many safety battles.
Was a long way behind against Jimmy Robertson. 8-3, 9-6. Just kept on coming back. He said to me a couple of years ago, Shaun, that he feels he's far too good a player to have only made it to the Crucible 5 times. But he had his first visit in 13. Not far away, that first red from Xiao. And then Selt was back in 15, but then waited until 2021 for a 3rd appearance. But he's put together a useful couple of years. 3 in the last 5. There's no shortage of confidence from Matt Selt. Yeah, it was a good performance against Selby a couple of years ago. He was 6-2 down and got back to 9-8.
Bit of a head scratcher, this one, already for Xiao Guodong in frame 1 of the best of 19 match. Of course, very, very long way to go, but this is trouble. Very difficult to see a safe place he can leave the cue ball here. He can see the red right, the pink full ball, so the foul and a miss rule in operation here. Whatever he chooses, he'll get a couple of goes at, because he can see that red full. But I don't see a route back to baulk off it. He could come off the left cushion and try and rest in the reds underneath the pink. If he's playing back to baulk off this red, he's got to be so careful. Well, he caught that way too thick. He collided with the red and black. Now, how's this going to work out? He hasn't got away with it. Good safety from Matt Selt, forced the chance. Just overdid the cue ball there. It's gone on by a few inches, low on the blue now, so has to go around the house. Colours off their spots though, so there's gaps there that aren't normally. Should be okay. And you see there the cue ball going over the yellow spot. Had the yellow have been on its spot, that shot wasn't on.
6. Seven.
In the white, please.
Sure.
Marcel Eckardt just giving the cue ball a little clean at the request of Matt Selt. He's striking the cue ball with some confidence here.
12.
Clearly fancies this. Never won a match at the Crucible. He'd love to change that this time round. But a little grimace there.
Yeah, I don't think he's come far enough for that red that he was trying to get to near the corner pocket. So, again, he's had 2 really good chances already in frame 1 here. He's only amassed 16 points. And that kind of tells the story of Matt Selt's game.
Selt 12.
Very strong tactically. And when he scores, he's very, very hard to beat. Generally, he doesn't score as heavy as the other top players. That's his tendency. But when he does, he's a real handful.
And there's a little bit of a pattern to his matches at the Crucible, Shaun. The 2 times he's come closest to winning on this great stage, he lost out to Barry Hawkins back in 2015. He was 7-2 down and forced a decider, and then came back to 9-8 against Mark Selby from 6-2 down. He said to me on Wednesday, I go missing a little bit in certain sessions at the Crucible, but then I get on a roll, and it's a question of whether the gap's too big for me to claw it back.
Yeah, you know, it gets talked about a lot walking out of the Crucible. It doesn't matter how many times you've done it, because it's so special for all the players, because this is our spiritual home. It takes getting used to it. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if it's your first time or you've been here 30 times. Those first few frames, the first few shots for every single player are so important. If you don't settle down immediately, you can be too far behind. And by the time you know where you are, by the time you've settled down and your breathing's okay and you're thinking with clarity, you're too far behind. So the start, whilst these matches are very long, these matches are as long as the final in every other event. Whilst the matches are very, very long, the start is vital. He's playing that red that's kind of in the middle of the table to the right of the pink. He's worried about where it's going to go. It's going to hit the red and the black. He doesn't want to stick it over the corner pocket. So to avoid that, he's hit it thicker. Now, what's he left? Xiao Guodong, meanwhile, Rob, has had an amazing season. He's churned out some unbelievably good performances this season. He's another player, when he gets into his stride and he gets into his rhythm, he looks unbeatable at times. Does this red go? Oh, I think it did, you know. Yeah, he was trying to cut this red in, play the figure of 8 safety shot at the same time, and of course missed that red. He didn't know where it was going to go. It's come up over the left middle pocket. He's been a little fortunate to get away with that, you'd have to say.
Yeah, a little shake of the head there from Selt. Guodong's season, totally agree, Shaun, has been absolutely incredible. He's been on tour for 17 years, and he's won about a third of his career prize money this season alone. 4 major quarterfinals, 3 semi-finals, runner-up at the Champ of Champs, and then a great title in Wuhan. It's like he's come alive this season. I've had the chance to interview him a couple of times throughout the campaign. I've asked him why things have clicked. And he said, it sounds very simple this, but perhaps you can relate to this as a world-class player yourself. He said, I've just started to try and enjoy it and not attach pressure to each match, and it's worked. Great graphic there. And by the way, en route to that Champ of Champs final, he beat Ronnie from 3-0 down. Then he beat Selby from 3-0 down. It was an incredible run.
I was wondering if he was going to go for the red into the green pocket and stun the cue ball to the side cushion. He would have had the black, and he wouldn't have been leaving a great deal. But it looks like a safety shot. This red will free the black up. No real idea where those reds are going to finish. Don't think the red above the cue ball pops to the yellow pocket. I think the blue is blocking that. But you can see with the configuration of the table, a mistake here could leave everything on for your opponent. So both players just trying to feel each other out, looking for that chance. Remember, Selt's already had 2 good scoring chances. But this is where he's strong. His tactical game is very, very good. Well, nice pot on the red to the left-hand corner. Middle, sorry. Just clipped it in very, very thin. Clips off the next red. No real idea where the cue ball was going to finish. And he has finished on the black in a fashion. But that's not really the type of shot you want to play first frame at the Crucible. He'd have to pop the black with some stun, get the cue ball out. That makes it missable. If he was just dropping the black in, you'd fancy it. But this is a missable shot. This is one of those, he doesn't want to play it, but he knows it's probably the shot.
Blue ball.
Now,
Selt
that
won.
blue by a long way. That was a very, very quick delivery of the cue there. That was a bit of a nervy one. What damage has he done? You can see he didn't really get close to the pocket there. That blue hurtling around the table could have done a lot of damage. But this isn't a gimme by any stretch. Nice shot. Lovely bit of cueing that from Xiao Guodong.
His first pot of the match. He's waited nearly 16 minutes for it. Now a little opportunity to get his hand on the table.
Isn't it funny, Shaun, how after a decade and a half on tour, the subtlest shift in your mental approach to the sport can reap such rewards as we've seen from Guodong this season? It shows you the complexities of the mindset approaching world-class snooker is fascinating.
Yeah, well, it's the difference, isn't it? You know, everybody on tour and even a long way down the amateur rankings, you know, all the players have got all the shots. It's not their ability to play snooker that defines them. It is their ability to think clearly under pressure and having that mindset. And if Xiao has discovered a way of, you know, like Steve Davis used to say, play like it means nothing when it means everything.
8.
That was the secret. It sounds so easy. But it's very difficult to do, I can assure you. Now that shot's gone awry. Neither player has settled here. Don't think the pink pot's into the right-hand corner pocket. Would have already played it.
Green ball.
Big shot, this. Oh, nicely played. Played with left-hand side to widen the angle past the yellow. See here, if he plays it plain ball, he would have cannoned into the yellow there. Left-hand side swung the cue ball wide and has brought him down the table for a choice of reds. Having a look to see if he can get to the black. He'd love to get the black back in play. Mathematically, he doesn't really need it. It's just a snooker player's mentality. If you see the black off its spot, you want it back there. Yeah, he's played for it. Now, he's not really on it where he wanted to be. He can just screw back for the red next door. Very close to that blue. Referee Marcel Eckardt will be all over this. And that's now worked out very nicely.
That was a great green to keep this early opportunity alive.
$20.
You know, it shows you how difficult it is to get to the Crucible, that a player of Xiao's quality arrives back for the first time since 2018. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, and the other thing at play here is this will be the first time he's been here as the seed, as the player expected to win, and that brings its own pressures as well. When you sit in that left chair, as is the etiquette, the higher seed always sits on the left. That just brings with it that little bit of higher expectation. So, 17 points ahead. These three reds 34 around the black represent a possible 24 points. That tells us that he will need one of the three reds that are by a cushion if he's to secure the frame at this visit.
Thank you.
And you would think that
35.
First frame of the first session of the first day, that red that's closest to that pocket on the black cushion wouldn't be too challenging down that cushion. The cloth would be at its slippiest and the pocket at its most receptive, day one. So this is a nice chance to put the first frame to bed. Although, as I say that, he's just under-hit that by 7 or 8 inches. The one thing he couldn't afford to be there was short, and as you see, he wanted that cue ball much nearer the pink so he could get to those two reds. He can still pot this red.
$43.
good visit so far from Xiao Guodong, bearing in mind he didn't pot a ball for almost 16 minutes at the beginning of this frame. He's had to work quite hard, finishing out of position a couple of times, but so far so good.
Yeah, good clear thinking there, knowing with the points that he needed to take a high-valued colour off that red. Otherwise, he would have needed the other red by the cushion. Good thinking.
$53. $54.
So 44 ahead, 43 remaining, and as I said earlier on,
61.
This red should be pretty straightforward. First frame of the tournament. Just drop this in.
62.
Really nicely done there by Xiao Guodong. I always think those shots are harder than they look.
Now, it'd be very interesting to see. Xiao Guodong's unlikely to pop the red after this black. It's not easy to get to. Interested to see whether Matt carries on for snookers. Here comes the cue ball. No cannon on the brown. So as I say, unless Xiao Guodong finds a way of doubling this red.
69.
52 ahead, 35 remaining. Will Matt carry on?
Xiao Guodong. 69 in the first frame.
So Xiao Guodong waited nearly 16 minutes to pot a ball. But a lovely little break of 69. He has settled 1-0.
The second frame. Matthew Selt to break.
So Marcel starts us off in the second. Had a couple of chances in the opener. Wasn't able to convert. And Xiao Guodong will be feeling a little bit better about this match, having taken that first frame with an excellently composed break.
Very fortunate there from Xiao Guodong to, you know, he's missed the red, knocked it over the corner pocket, but he's left Matthew queuing over the green here if he wants to try and take it on. I don't think Matt can get to the middle of the cue ball, bridging normally. He's just having a look to see. You can see there he has to strike right of centre, so just raising it over the green, that makes that pot 10 times more difficult. And of course, if you're trying to get on a colour, probably doubly so. Yeah, he didn't want to play that, but he couldn't think of a way to cover it. So he'll think himself a bit unlucky there as he walks back to his chair. Was playing it in a way that the red was the only red he could leave. That red rebounded and knocked the cue ball into this position, and another chance for Xiao Guodong to carry on.
One.
Shaun, as the balls were being re-racked, you were alluding to just why the first frame at the Crucible is so absolutely huge.
Well, yeah, I just remember Steve Davis telling me that, you know, the first frame is just massive. Obviously, mathematically, then your opponent has to win 2 to get past you, but it's the marker, it's what you're saying to your opponent, and to the point where you might even play different shots in the first frame than you might play in the rest of the match.
6.
Meanwhile, Xiao Guodong's played a really nice positional shot down for this red. Needs to force this to get back up for the blue.
Seven.
Yeah, he was quite straight on that red. It wasn't easy to force the angle. Now this is a more difficult journey through baulk than his previous attempt. But in his imagination, he's trying to find a way to get to or move the red that's by the black. If he could find a way there, that would open things up. Now, where's this cue ball going to finish? Will it travel for the red by the pink? Will it travel? Will it travel?
12.
Great shot.
Well, he had a great green to keep his break going in the first frame. That was a fabulous positional shot to come round the table for that red. Positive signs early
18.
on here, Shaun, for Xiao Guodong.
Yeah, very, but I'm just wondering, I'm looking at his body language. Is he on a red? I mean, he played that split about as perfectly as you can. He caught the pink full on the face, lots of backspin to keep the cue ball in the middle of the table. I'm not sure he can pot a red, you know. The red on the pink spot pots to left middle, but no colour to follow. The red to the right corner cuts, but again, very thin. Hard to control the cue ball. He's been very unlucky there. Excellent shot. As I said before, it was very, very thin, this. Couldn't control the cue ball, so decided to play twice across the table. And he's regained perfect position on the blue. He's really trying here not to leave the table. He's already played 2 or 3 great shots in this break. Well, he's forced the cue ball through that gap. I'm not 100% convinced
24.
that he did that on purpose. But where that's finished, does that mean he can find his way to the black? He might be able to pot the red nearest left corner and play the cannon. Or he might be able to leave the cue ball where he was pointing his Q-tip just a moment ago. If the next couple of shots go right, this could be 2-0 very quickly.
He's shown a couple of fabulous moments of cue ball control in this break, and Matt Selt's been frozen out now with no pot for nearly 17 minutes. This is turning into a great start to the match so far for Xiao Guodong. Remember, he's only
32.
one match on the Crucible stage. He beat Ryan Day in the first round back in 2017, before
33.
succumbing to Selby 13-6 in the last 16. Best season of his career, and it looks like that form is continuing here on the most important stage of all. Have you sensed the difference in him when you've been playing him this season as opposed to previous seasons, Shaun?
Well, he's just, as he, I think, as he said, he's found that belief, hasn't he? And he's found that way to, play with less pent-up emotion. And he's just going out there playing snooker. And of course, that's the dream, isn't it? That's the dream scenario. If you can find a way to bring your practice game, how you feel, how those emotions are when you're practicing, if you can find a way of bringing that person to the arena, then you're onto a winner. Because everybody can do it in practice. All the pros are as good as each other in the practice room. But there's only a few can bring it out in the arena. And this season has probably been a breakthrough season for Xiao Guodong in that regard.
47.
He's perfect on the red. Closest
54.
to the cue ball. Played that nicely. 54 ahead, 83 on, so he's only a few pots away from securing frame number 2.
55.
And this is what the greats did throughout their career when they had their man in the chair.
62.
Keep him there for as long as possible. Selt now coming up on 20 minutes since his last pot. Talk about settling early. He definitely hasn't settled, and it's Xiao Guodong's job to keep him feeling as uncomfortable as he can for as long as possible. That's frame 2 in the bag now.
70. $71.
Cracking snooker from the Wuhan Open winner from the autumn. Marcel said a couple of times
76.
in the lead up to the Crucible, I sometimes find myself a long way adrift. He needs to nip this in the bud and somehow find a way to break Xiao Guodong's momentum. Crowd would love to see a century here. It's been a great break so far.
Yeah, and we talk about what the season Xiao Guodong's had. He's had 51 centuries
84.
this season so far, compared to 19 in the previous season. I don't know what he's found, but I wouldn't mind
85.
a pint of it myself.
$90. $91.
This has been an absolute treat to watch this second frame. Lovely snooker, brilliant cue ball control.
Yeah, and I
98.
think we might see Selt leave the arena at the end of this frame, whatever happens. You come out here and you've prepared so hard, you're trying so hard. It's not the start he would have been looking for. You might see him leave the arena and just go and regroup and try and start again.
Thanks.
Nice shot on the last red for Xiao Guodong, and a chance for the first century of the championship here at the Crucible.
Brilliant. Brilliant from Xiao Guodong. That's what the crowd came to see. Fabulous snooker from one of the world's best.
$108. 111.
You wouldn't think we're watching a player who hasn't registered a win at the Crucible for 8 years.
115.
This has been fabulous snooker.
$120.
Well, it doesn't matter about the pink. That was a magnificent century. And Xiao Guodong is settling brilliantly into this match. 2-0 now.
That's the third frame. Xiao Guodong to break.
Xiao Guodong gets us underway in the third frame. And it has so far been the perfect start to his first Crucible match for 7 years. Marcel needs to find a way to settle, and settle quickly here.
Well, decided to go all out, push the boat out there, trying to make something happen. Was guaranteed to leave the red by the black should he miss this red. But went for it full-bloodedly. Credit for that, but what damage has he done? He's left that red.
One.
And if you're Xiao Guodong, this is the type of chance that you pray for. This is the type of chance you would dream of. 2-0 up. Opponent hasn't potted a ball for approaching half an hour. Red spread nicely. You're in good form.
8.
Nearly 200 points without reply now. Couldn't have asked for a better start.
Nine.
And if we think back to that first frame, Shaun, a lovely opening red from Marcel, who had chances in the opener, which he wasn't able to convert.
Was a lovely cannon, as played. Just brushed
16.
that red out of the way. That was so nice.
$17.
In the player's mind now, you come to the table, you see the loose reds, you know each red represents a possible 8 points with a black, and you're looking to say, at what point here do I need to move the cluster? Can I win the frame just taking the loose reds and accumulate enough points? If not, at what point should I start nudging them into play? He played that with deep screw and right-hand side, reverse side in that case, out for a choice of reds. Perfect.
24.
That's 3 reds, 3 blacks, Rob.
Oof. The snooker gods
25.
almost heard you. You went early on that. You went early. Calm down, everybody. What about that double max from Jackson Page? Absolutely incredible way
32.
to finish off that match.
Bonkers is the word. Absolutely crazy. Some people don't make 1-1-4-7 in their career. He had
33.
2 in one match. That's ridiculous.
And he's made more money with that double max than anybody at this year's championship other than the eventual winner and runner-up. That's also crazy. And he's such a good player. He didn't even make it here. That's how tough it is to get to the Crucible.
40.
Now that's 5 reds, 5 blacks. Xiao Guodong has a chance here to pop this red, and he can play a stun shot into the cluster, push the cue ball through for the black.
41.
Perfectly played.
$48. 49.
Now, there
56.
is a man known as Kev, and the reason Kev is getting extremely excited, a new initiative at the Crucible this year, he has been selected totally at random, and if there is a maximum break, Kev will walk away with a cheque for £25,000. One crowd member is being chosen at random ahead of every single session. Just remember,
57.
keep the noise down, Kev. Long way to go.
Little chance here if he wants to play the cannon. Not sure if there are any plants in that cluster of 6. He's got the red that's loose as his insurance red, should it go wrong. Yeah, he has played the split. Now, how's his luck? Red's very close to the middle. No. Could have been a lot better. You can see the reds was set.
64.
He just clipped it off the 3rd red. That sent that red to the left-hand middle pocket, and now he has to make the choice. He's nowhere near the line in this frame. The red closest to the cue ball. I'm not sure if that passes the blue. I don't think the red right of the pink passes the red over the middle pocket. How does he keep it going here if he wants to?
Key question. You're a world-class player with many maximums to your name. What would you do here?
1-4-7s at the Crucible don't happen very often. If it's me, I'm going for it. This is extremely difficult. How's he playing it? Is he playing it up and down for the black, or is he just dropping it in?
$65.
Yeah, he just dropped it in. Totally understandable. And I did have a quick look at the gentleman in the audience. He had a very reluctant clap as the red went in.
Sorry, Kev.
7. 68.
What a fantastic start to this match from Xiao Guodong, max or no max. He's absolutely pin sharp this morning. Day one, session one, he's brought his best.
Well, that has gone wrong. We know those reds don't pass the red over the left middle
73.
pocket. So 73 points ahead as we see the replay. Didn't get the cannon on the pink as played. 73 up, 67 remaining. Barring snookers, that should be the third frame on the board.
Xiao Guodong 73.
Fabulous break from Xiao Guodong. An important few minutes here from Marcel. The way the match has gone, he's just desperate to get some table time. Hasn't potted a ball for 33 minutes. He's only potted 7 to Xiao Guodong's 74 so far. He's been frozen out by Xiao's cue ball control and break building. Little shake of the head there from Selt as he headed back to his chair.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying. I mean, the first frame aside, he had a couple of chances first. He was in, he had a couple of chances to get going, didn't do it, lost the first frame. But since then, he hasn't done a great deal wrong. He's missed 2 long reds, that's all. And Matt, you know, he's well within his rights to carry on here. He only needs a couple of snookers, a couple of 4-point snookers anyway. Certainly while there's reds on the table, the free ball comes into it. You can effectively get 15 points from 1 snooker with a free ball. So there's nothing wrong with him carrying on here. Doesn't want the cue ball enough. A little bit unfortunate as he chases the snooker. A wry smile across the face of Marcel. Fancy if this black doesn't drop, he'll concede the frame.
Well, he's worked hard here to just give himself half a chance to get some table time and just try and settle a little bit against an opponent who's at the peak of his powers.
9.
Yeah, and if Matt can find a way to take these 2 open reds with blacks,
16.
You'd have to say the table is in a favourable position for chasing for snookers. He's actually just working out whether it's worth playing for the pink off the next red and getting the pink back on its spot. Does that improve the chance for snookers or maybe make it worse? That pink and black being together, they look like they're in a good place
17.
for snookers. Yellow's in a good spot. That red by the green pocket is very, very awkward. To use it properly, you'd have to be above it. So the next shot on the next colour to get up towards that next red, that's the important shot of this contribution. He's just working out now, where does he need to leave the cue ball so that he can actually use that red. If he's underneath the red, if he's low on the red as we look, the red's going to be going towards the jaws of that corner pocket when he hits it. If he's above it, somewhere between the yellow and the baulk cushion, he can hit the red down the table. So he's really worked hard there to try and get the cue ball up above the red. Doesn't want it to flick off it. Well, that's not what he played. But
31.
Can he skim off this red and knock the red on and off the cushion towards the yellow, get the cue ball away? Doesn't think so. So he's having a look at playing with the rest and skimming off. Problem with this shot is if you stun the cue ball down towards the black, the red might come and hit the cue that'll still be there. This is awkward.
Marcel, 31.
Well, at least he's got his hand on the table with a little contribution of 31. Xiao Guodong will be keen to close the door in this frame. 2 4-pointers needed. And your opponent needs a snooker. Put him in one.
Well, time for Marcel to have a little bit of good run in there. He didn't play the snooker behind the blue, but he's got him full ball. Shouldn't be too hard to hit through the green and brown. One cushion. Well, that's
foul.
Careless.
Marcel 4.
Causing himself unnecessary stress here.
Of course.
Of course, no miss can be called as snookers are still required. And how important is that fairly basic mistake going to be in the story of this frame? Remember, earlier on in this frame, Xiao Guodong was in for an attempt on a 1-4-7 before it went wrong. Selt now back in this frame, just one snooker. Caught that slightly thicker than intended. Played the cue ball in behind the black. Can Xiao Guodong get through to the potting angle of this red? Can definitely hit it.
Xiao Guodong will be well aware of the quality of Selt's tactical game.
As we are in play, can you be as quietly as possible, please?
disappointed there. That was a good job. That was a good opportunity to get that cue ball in behind the black, get that red up by the green. Just a simple swerve to escape this time. Should have been more difficult than this. Now, where are the balls going to finish? You've no real idea when you play the swerve shot. The trick here when chasing for snookers, for young players watching, any amateur players trying to improve their game, is that as you're chasing for snookers, it's not just about getting the snooker. You have to play the object ball safe as well. So that if you don't get the snooker, you're going to come back to the table. Last thing you want to do is throw the red over a pocket. Now that's worked out very nicely for Marcel. And this unnecessary stress for Xiao Guodong continues. Referee Marcel Eckardt very close to this one. Could be black first. No, played it really well.
Really good shot there from Xiao Guodong. And a very sporting show of appreciation for the quality of the snooker he'd been put in with the tap of the table before he took his shot. Well, we were all getting excited about a max. 8 reds, 8 blacks. But Xiao Guodong now will just want this frame to end as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and what makes it worse from Xiao Guodong's perspective, as we see the red finish over the middle pocket, this isn't easy to use for snookering, but Xiao Guodong hasn't got any insurance here. Yes, he's mathematically safe whilst Matt chases the snooker, but there are no colours safe. Should Matt get that snooker, it could be a fairly simple run to the line in the frame. There are no obstacles for Matt Selt to overcome here if he gets the foul. But because that red's so close to this pocket, this is very awkward. He might try and bump it into the far jaw and bring the red back towards the black. Yeah, that's what he played. You don't really know where the red's going to finish. How's that worked out? I think it's okay, you know. Oh, this is good. That is an excellent shot from Xiao Guodong. That's as good as any shot he's played this morning.
Great moment of composure. Now, as he left it, can Xiao finish the frame? And he'll be relieved if he can.
One and the third frame.
Well, it was a brilliant snooker from Matt Selt to try and get himself back in, but Xiao Guodong over the line. No max, but a 3-0 lead.
Thank you. Settle down, please. The fourth frame. Matthew Selt to break.
Right then, last frame before the mid-session break. Matt Selt found 1 snooker in the previous, but not 2. And he's got to try and find a way of getting a toehold in this one, because Xiao Guodong is scoring well, finishing well, and worthy of his 3-0 lead at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. Xiao Guodong has done his work very, very well so far. Been very, very strong when he's got in the balls. You'd have to say, though, bar the first frame, Matt Selt hasn't made many mistakes. He's missed 2 long reds, and that's been it. So it's not panic stations just yet.
Foul and a miss. Xiao Guodong full.
Interested to see here. This will tell us how Xiao Guodong's feeling. Most players would have that ball replaced. But it looks like he's feeling that confident. He's going for this long red. Doesn't need to. Yeah, that tells us a story. Very, very confident at the moment. And why wouldn't you be, the way he's played so far this morning? Knew the cue ball was working off the second red to get it out of trouble. Didn't know where the red was going to go should you miss it. But at the moment, he fancies potting everything now. Matt Selt can get through to that red as a long pot. As I say, he's only really missed a couple of these already. That's been the mistake so far. Oh, well, that's excellent. Great shot. Had to zip the cue ball out of there, out of the danger zone, back towards ball. With that little bit of safety in mind. And now he's away. He'd love to find a way down to the red that's closest to the black as quickly as possible. And it's just about working out the best route to get there. He's played for it now. He knows if he goes too far, he's got the red behind the black. That's excellent.
Five. Six.
Wow, that's gone wrong. That's the type of shot that's a bit touchy-feely, and that's gone wrong, as is the case when you've been sat in your chair for a long time in the morning, hasn't had much table time. This pink's now missable. Nothing to do with the cue ball. It's just wriggled in. Cue ball ran loose, and he's on nothing.
Oh, your heart goes out to him on that. He is a demonstrative character. I just wonder, there were a few spectators coming back in on the other side of the divide just when he went down and lost position. I just wonder whether that distracted him momentarily.
Well, he desperately wants to try and keep this visit to the table going. He's got the red through the gap into the yellow pocket. There's a couple of reds that might be a plant as well, but it's the single red. Needs to screw underneath the red closest to the left-hand pocket so he doesn't leave it should he miss it.
$13.
Well, took a chunk out of the near jaw, but it's there. Any harder, I don't think that would have gone in. And as you can see, he was leaving reds. Had he have missed it, played that with full commitment.
He has produced some brilliant single pots in this visit. Determined to be positive and try and wrestle this last frame of the mid-session away from Xiao Guodong. He knows his opponent is in fantastic form and playing well this morning. This is a really important visit for Matt Selt.
28. $29. Of course.
Remember, we're watching a guy who came from 8-3 down against Jimmy Robertson to come through the cauldron of Judgment Day a couple of miles up the road at the English Institute of Sport. He's got here the hard way. Desperate to give a good account of himself and get back in this match.
$34.
Bit of a queuing shot required here, just the stun run through. Moving this red should make way for the two next door into the right-hand corner pocket.
35.
Especially now as he's flicked that second red, that was very nicely played. He's got enough angle on this black that he can force the cue ball back up for the choice of reds into the same pocket as the black. He's got the red to left middle waiting should it go wrong. Played that nicely. This red nearest the black in turn will free the red next door to it into
42.
both pockets, and the reds are starting to open up.
$43.
He's shown a couple of touches of class in this break. First red to get in was fraught with danger, leaving all sorts for Xiao Guodong, and then the red up into the yellow pocket. Fantastic. He's carved this out the hard way. Can he keep this break going and get himself on the board ahead of the mid-session cup of tea?
$50. $51.
Yeah, so he's just reckoning the score now, working it out. It's going to need another couple of reds, and it's obvious where the next red comes from, but where does the one after that come from? I think the red that's closest to the black does pop into this bottom right-hand corner pocket, but there's a very small area to get into to access it. Not sure the red two from the pink pot's to right middle. So we might have to nudge into something here. Medium pace into the pink looks a good shot to me. It's very hard to see how this could go wrong. Can he get through to the red? I'm watching
62.
his body language, I'm not sure. Quick check of the score. Yeah, I'd say he probably can get through. I think he'd have given a bit more away if he was blocked on this red. It's very tight, as you can see. 58 ahead, 75 remaining, so he's right at the line in this frame. This is very tight. You can see having to play it with left-hand side, trying to swerve around the red.
63.
Well played.
This has been a really excellent response so far in this frame from Marcel. Full focus and concentration now to ensure that that effort brings reward.
he's just overthinking this. He's right on the line. He's in trouble in the match. 3-0 behind. He needs another ball after this black. Doesn't want to play for the red behind the black for some reason. He's played on and off for the red to right middle.
$70.
Just this red to get his first frame of the championship on the board.
$71.
And after what's gone on so far in this match, this has been an excellent contribution.
Perfect way to end a difficult mini session for Matt Selt.
$78.
Thoroughly deserves this fourth frame. He's shown some wonderful touches of class and composure. Well, this crowd have been treated to 1 century already. And an 8 red, 8 black. Half attempt to the max. Let's see whether Matthew can bring us another ton to finish 4 very entertaining frames of snooker.
85.
Don't you just love the World Championship in Sheffield? Best place in the world for snooker.
$92. $93.
Come on, Matthew. Black for a ton to ignite the crowd again. Fabulous break from Matthew Selt, just when he needed it. Brilliant stuff from the man who has been under pressure but will feel much better after this visit.
101. $106.
Doesn't matter about the yellow. That was a brilliant century in the context of the match from Matt Selt. He's got his toe on the board. It's 3-1 to Xiao Guodong at the mid-session break.
Yeah, you know, me lifting and kissing the World Snooker Championship trophy, magical moment. Absolutely visualised that since day dot really playing this game. So yeah, a feeling that scares me actually, because I feel like I'll never feel sort of elation like that ever again, a first time World Championship win, but hopefully there's many more. Oh dear me. Yeah, Halloween, it's always the same. Sophie seems to always look a attractive and I look like a total plonker. Sophie obviously always picks the outfit ideas. Like I say, she always gets the better end of the deal and I always look like a plonker. So yeah, we've got 2 little Shih Tzu dogs as well, which kind of look like Dalmatians. So yeah, it was Cruella de Vil and a fully grown adult version of a Dalmatian. Yeah, so that picture is from my wedding day with my wife Sophie. So we've been together, I think 15 years to now. Married 7. So yeah, a beautiful day at the Kettering Park Hotel in Kettering, where we're from. It's something that gets overlooked. Obviously, you've got to have a strong base at home and a strong relationship, you know, especially having 2 young children. My wife is very strong, very level-headed and knows sort of what I need to do to be a good snooker player. Yeah, so this is a picture of me using a baby golf set, and instead of using it the traditional way, I naturally just thought to put the ball on the little footstool and sort of cue with it, trying to hit the ball. And yeah, I don't know, it just, looking at that, it makes me feel like I was just put on this earth to play snooker, just naturally wanted to play. And yeah, my boys are sort of following in a bit of a similar suit.
Yeah. Thank you. It's frame 5. Xiao Guodong to break.
Xiao Guodong gets us going in the second half of this opening session against Marcel. Fully worthy of his 3-1 lead, but what kind of confidence has Marcel taken from that 4th frame century before they headed off? Quite a lot, judging by the quality of that opening red.
1. Matthew Selt 5.
Shake of the head from Matt Selt in his chair. Shaun, he was desperately disappointed that he couldn't keep that early visit going despite opening up with a lovely red.
Yeah, and a tap on the table there to appreciate the safety shot. And just speaks to the fact that you have to work so hard for your chances in these matches against the seeds that when you do get your chance and you squander it, you only score a handful of points. It just builds to your frustration. Matt was in first in frame 1, had 2 or 3 really good chances, didn't manage to put that to bed, sat frames 2 and 3 out, and of course that really nice 106 in the 4th. This could have been 2 each, really. He'll know that. And he's just got to be careful that the frustration doesn't build. This is way short. What a misjudgment that is. My goodness. That is an incredible misjudgment from somebody of Matt Selt's class to leave that a foot short of the 3 reds underneath the pink there, which he was playing for. That is an incredible misjudgment. And if the mistakes so far hadn't frustrated him, that definitely will. Oh, and what's worse is the black pots to left corner. Well, he's not showing much there. But inside, Matt Selt will be extremely frustrated at that shot. What's it going to cost him?
It was such a positive opening red as well from Matt Selt. He will be acutely aware of how well his opponent has played all season and so far in this session. The laser focus in the eyes of Xiao Guodong, who has joined the realm of ranking event winner. That victory in Wuhan came with excellent performances against Kyron, Barry Hawkins, yourself, Shaun. And it seems to have done wonders for his self-belief, finally getting his hands on a trophy. Selt will be absolutely fuming
16.
that he's locked in his seat at the moment. With another good-looking chance for his opponent.
17.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story about our match in Wuhan whilst we watched Xiao Guodong go about these next few reds. He played that well against me in the first 4 frames that we walked off arm in arm to the players' lounge, and I said to him, this is unbelievable performance. If you carry this on, you'll need to be drug tested. We went back out and finished the match, and when we came off the match, the drug testers were there. He turned to me, he said, "Did you arrange this?" Which I didn't.
32.
Great nugget there, Shaun, and a little insight into what life is like on tour for these hard-working pros. I think that camaraderie is really important, even from the perspective of working on snooker rather than playing it. We all spend huge amounts of time away from home, and the friendships we form and the bonds that we create, they're genuine.
$39.
Well, certainly in the sense of that particular match, you know, you're trying to beat each other. You're not going there to make the numbers up. But when someone plays as well as Xiao Guodong did that week against everybody, and as he has done in matches subsequently, you just have to hold your hands up, shake his hand and say, well played. You know, there's no point being bitter about it. He was unplayable. Well, that was an excellent shot to get the cannon. He didn't have the ideal angle at all. Is he on the red to left middle? As we see the replay, really had to force that. That wasn't a natural in the cue ball, 46. And that red ran off together. And I think that spoiled things. I don't think he can get through to the red. So it will just be a safety shot, I'm sure, after this. Don't see how he can get another red from there. Playing the red twice across, cue ball in behind the brown.
Xiao Guodong,
excellent.
46.
Xiao Guodong playing like the seeded player here. Something that will be new to him at the Crucible, being expected to win, and at the moment, he's playing like it. Marcel's got options here. He can play the 2-cushion thin edge skimmer shot. That's the one he was just looking at. Or he can play the 2 cushions into the back of that cluster at a very slow pace. Totally up to him. That pink looks like it's in the way for the 2-cushion, if I'm honest. That's what he's played. Looking for the skim through the gap.
Fallen in this.
He has run into the pink.
6.
What damage has he done? Got that all wrong. Do you know, I think he might have got away with that.
Please, Terry.
He has got away with it. Xiao Guodong has taken the miss, so the balls are being replaced.
Marcel Eckardt being assisted by Terry Camilleri.
I don't think it's proper overlaying, is it? Just speak to me, please.
Yes. Just a bit more.
Well, how far, Terry, please?
Yeah. Just up. Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, making sure the pink is back in
Yeah.
the correct spot.
Down. Down. Down, Mars. Bit more down. Bit more down.
Just stick it there.
I don't know whether you picked that up.
Close to me.
Matt Selt's just said, just stick it there, pointing to the bottom left pocket.
Good job.
Great little moment of humour just to break the tension.
Yeah,
Maybe break his own tension.
Slide it this way.
No, no, it's either this way or that way, one of the two.
Can we check that, please, Terry? Can you kind of like overlap it a bit quicker?
Okay.
So we get the original and the current picture.
So Marcel is asking Terry Camilleri for a very quick flick from how the table was to how the table is now, because the naked eye can pick up the slightest difference in position much quicker that way. That's why he's asked Terry to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
More.
Yeah. Good on. Thanks.
So he's trying to hit the red separated from the bunch, but if he catches the bunch first, he runs into the pink, so this is risky. Great shot. Great escape. Extremely lucky to have got it so badly wrong on the first go and not to have left a pot for his opponent, but having had it replaced, that was very good. Does Guodong fancy this long red? Full of confidence. Well, he did go for it. Cue ball's close to enough. Red's gone round the table. Cue ball's in.
Have yourself for.
Well, he didn't commit fully to it, did he? You could see he played it with more than just an air of safety in mind. Wouldn't go all out for the pot. Thought he was going to play for black or pink, but didn't want to risk it. That red could have finished anywhere. And we see the cue ball drop in, so ball in hand for Marcel. Can he knock the long red in? Matt will be quite frustrated as he sits back down in his chair. That goes down as a chance missed. That's the type of shot that he would practice a lot. He would have fancied that one again, knew he was leaving this red. Should he miss it underneath the black? Frustrated to have his chance and miss it. And now already 47 points to the good. Xiao Guodong in with a clear chance to extend his lead to 3 frames.
And the way Xiao Guodong has played this match, he hasn't given Marcel too many chances. Well, that was one of them. Not taken.
Eight.
Well, a momentary lapse in concentration, and there haven't been many of those. This mid-range potting has been fantastic in this match so far. And what a reprieve for Matt Selt. Can he make it count?
1.
Well, he's got the angle on the blue to force the split on the little cluster. He's got the angle on the pink if he wants to play it as well. Play the pink softly. You'd think he'd move all 5 of those reds. Doesn't need to whack this. Can just play it naturally. Yeah, he did choose to whack it, and he's missed it now. What has he left?
Left is Selt 1.
Well, just a few signs that both of them just gone off the boil ever such a fraction.
Yeah, I think what's actually happening here is I think both players are sensing the interval has just come at the right time. It's stopped play, you know, in its tracks. And this frame has taken on a far more important context than just a frame of snooker. Massive difference between 4-1 and 3-2.
One.
It's an extremely awkward table, of course. Green, brown, that red on the side cushion, red by the black, spoiling things. But from Matt Selt's point of view, at least he's back at the table. Didn't hit that pink well at all on his previous visit, and that could have been his last shot of this frame. It's not been. And a chance to right those wrongs.
Six. Seven. Thirteen.
This visit is starting to feel very big from Matt Selt's perspective, having been frozen out for the first 3 frames.
Fourteen.
Has to play the brown here, because the brown is currently blocking the path of the green. Yellow's not the correct shot. And that's the break over.
16.
Strange decision that for me. I thought he might have left the yellow over the pocket for if and when he does try and move the red by the black. The yellow would have always been waiting. I can see the shot he's played to try and move the red by the cushion, but as I say, that brown is still blocking the path for the green. The red by the black is still in trouble. Strange one.
Because it's the World Championship, there might be people watching who are not regular snooker fans. Give us an insight into how many shots ahead a world-class player like yourself would be in your head before you come to a table.
Well, certainly in a situation like that where you've got reds that are on cushions, colours on cushions, colours being blocked by other balls, you'd come and very quickly assess where the trouble is, where the danger
Selt,
is.
16.
What obstacles do I have to get over here to win the frame at this visit? So the reds by cushions have to be moved, reds by the colours have to be moved, the brown has to be moved because it's blocking the green's path to that pocket. And you just work out the best route around the table that gives you the best chance to achieve that whilst being the least risk. And I guess the people who can do that the best, score the best, make the biggest breaks, and steal frames with a counter clearance they had no right to win. Oh, that flick on the yellow could be important. Matt Selt looked away in disgust as that cue ball finished near the baulk cushion. It's not that, it's the fact that it kissed the yellow on the way through and has snookered him on all three reds. Another two cushion escape coming. Has he fluked it? No, he needed to. Caught the red much too thick. Already 38 points to the good. Xiao Guodong comes to the table as we see the replay. Red in the colour. And it'll be 4-1.
This would really sting Matt Selt, because probably for the first time in the match in this frame, we've seen multiple unforced errors from his opponent.
Oh, well, more evidence if we needed it of just how important this frame has become. What a miss on the blue from Xiao Guodong there. Only needed the blue for the frame. Inexplicable miss. Maybe just sensing the importance of this frame, the magnitude of it, what it would mean. He missed it. And Matt Selt was out of his seat like a rocket. Big moments in this match.
Well, Matt Selt must have thought the frame had gone.
Now, I was just about to say that Matt had a look at the scoreboard, because he could have mathematically won the frame here by taking the brown off this last red. By playing for any other colour than the brown, he's committing himself to not winning the frame at this visit.
9.
Had he have potted the brown next, he would have been 26 behind with 27 on. And all the colours, he would have won the frame by 1 point. And if I'm Xiao Guodong, the fact that Matt hasn't done that tells me he's not thinking clearly. It tells me that my opponent isn't thinking with the clarity that he's going to need to beat me today. A couple of very surprising mistakes, in my opinion, from Matt Selt in the play of this frame, in the choices of shot. Because now, no matter what happens, he can't win at this visit. Now, is he going to pot the yellow and play a safety shot on the green? Is he going to try and move the green? Whatever you do, pot the yellow. Just missed the cannon. And now we're into the safety battle. Safety battle that was inevitable once Matt decided to leave that brown there. 21 behind, 25 on. What he would give to win this frame.
And the quality we saw from Xiao Guodong in those first 3 frames, you would never have put him down to have missed that blue for frame ball. So he'll be starting to feel it a fraction. He had 4-1 in the palm of his hand. Big, big moments here towards the end of the 5th.
Selt, 18.
Well, the audible groan from Marcel. He's absolutely disgusted with himself for that. Can't even bring himself to look at the table. Oh.
Thanks. 3.
What a big couple of minutes in this match, Shaun.
Yeah, very much so. Totally self-inflicted by Marcel. Pain that he's caused himself by turning the brown down a few minutes ago. Didn't play for the brown off the last red.
Xiao Guodong, 7.
Well, he's battling on for the snookers. But barring an extraordinary couple of hits, another frame has gone begging here for Selt. Well, he's a determined character, Marcel.
So 5, frame conceded.
Never gives up. But he realises even this one is beyond rescue. And what a huge frame this 5th could turn out to be. It's 4-1 to Guodong.
Thank you. It's frame 6. Selt.
Well, no matter how he does it, Selt has got to find a way to forget about the end of the 5th. So close to 3-2, but that's ancient history. He needs to draw on the quality he produced in the 4th frame for his century visit of 106. This is a tough task against a man having the best season of his career. Not over yet. He came from 8-3 down on Judgment Day to beat Jimmy Robertson. But Selt's under pressure here.
Xiao Guodong played the red to the right middle, knowing he wasn't really going to leave much. He didn't play the cue ball in behind the yellow like that. That's for certain. So he can consider himself slightly lucky there. Meant to cover the red by the yellow, but didn't mean to snooker mat on everything. Shouldn't be a problem to come off 2 into the back of the main bench. Nicely judged. Referee
His touching ball.
declaring it a touching ball, so Xiao Guodong must play away. That red mustn't move, as he's deemed to have already hit it. If he were to make it move, it'd be classed as a push.
Not far off half an hour for that 5th frame. And a little bit of the momentum and the speed around the table has gone from this one. Understandable. In the context of the match and what's at stake. Marcel acutely aware of his need to limit the damage. That's around about his average shot time for the season so far, 28.4. He's up at 29 so far this morning.
Yeah, very demonstrative around the table now. Marcel walked away to the seat, not happy with that one. It's a strange sort of shot, really, because he was guaranteed to leave reds. If he doesn't pot the red, he's always going to leave at least one to the left middle. So Xiao Guodong in again. Already had breaks of 69, 120, 73 and 46 in the previous frame, so he doesn't need any encouragement. And if he could win this frame, that would, of course, guarantee him a lead going into the final session. And it would just be a question of how big a lead.
their second session. Their concluding session is tomorrow morning.
6.
Although there's a huge distance to go in this match, the winner of this one will face either John Higgins or Joe O'Connor.
7.
And that's an absolutely cracking first round match. Joe O'Connor, 12 months on from a debut that saw him beat his good mate Marcel against John Higgins, who's won 2 titles in successive months. Xiao Guodong won't be thinking about the last 16 just yet. He'll be focusing on one ball at a time here, sensing the frustration growing in his opponent.
Fourteen. 20. 21. 27. 28. 34.
Constructing a nice break here. And as you can see, those reds underneath the pink, they all seem to be blocking each other. And he is going to need to access them at some stage to win this frame.
35.
Might have an angle here to push into them. No, he doesn't. So this has just gone quite complex. As you can see, he's very straight on the pink. How does he get from there to the 2 reds that are in open plate? He could screw back for the red into the yellow pocket up the cushion. Doesn't want to move that because that's his insurance. He's played that really well. was an excellent shot because he had to pop
41.
that pink in the middle of the pocket. If he hits it into the right-hand side of the pocket, the cue ball clips the red on the way past. But again, these two reds in open play aren't going to be enough.
.42.
Yeah, and this time he does have a nice angle to pop the pink and naturally push the cue ball through into that bunch. Very hard to predict how they're going to react, but you would think it's hard to see a way that he's going to cannon into those reds and not be on one of them. That red causing him a little bit of a stretch. And he has pushed one into open play. You see the replay there, the cue ball pushing through, and the red that's kind of in the middle of that cluster of 5 is available as well. So he's set fair here to win this frame at this visit and extend his lead. A lead that would be guaranteed overnight.
49.
It was delicately done into the pack, wasn't it? Especially with that red just under his left arm. He's giving himself the platform here to start really turning the screw after that gut-wrenching 5th from Matt Selt's perspective.
.55.
So not many balls from the line here. Keep your concentration. Give every shot 100%.
.56.
Tried to miss that one.
.62. .63. .69.
Really nicely done here from Xiao Guodong.
.70.
Well, when he missed the blue in the previous frame, he might have started to think he was going to get pegged back to within 1. And all of a sudden, he's put himself in a great position. A guaranteed overnight lead. The only question now, by how much? He could really hurt Marcel in the last few frames of this first session now.
77.
One century each so far in this encounter.
.83. .84.
Well, unfortunately, this match so far is turning out how Marcel alluded to its possible unfolding. He was 7-2 down to Barry Hawkins before forcing a decider. That was way back 10 years ago. He was
86.
6-2 down to Mark Selby before forcing his way back.
87.
And once again, he's going to leave himself a bit of a mountain to climb here. It's not over yet, absolutely not at 5-1. But Matt Selt has got to dig deep and do so quickly.
$93. 94.
How good is that? The second century of this opening session for Xiao Guodong.
100.
He's really showing his class here at the Crucible.
102. 105. 109. 'Xiao Guodong,
Well, not quite an exhibition finish, but what a fabulous century. And Xiao Guodong has guaranteed himself an overnight lead. Impressive stuff. 5-1 now to the man from China.
7th frame. Xiao Guodong to break.
Well, despite a few sticky moments in the 5th frame with a couple of unforced errors from Xiao Guodong, he's in the process of turning the screw here. Matt Selt now hasn't potted a ball for 20 minutes in this one. He absolutely has to try and find a way to limit the damage for the remainder of this session. That'll help. But he's got to make it count.
1. Six. Seven. $14. $15. 22.
Nice angle on the black now to play the cannon into the cluster. Retain position on the loose red. Just above the black. Doesn't need to overhit this. Yeah, that's not quite what he played. He can still pot the red that's closest to this right-hand corner pocket. It's not already meant to be on. Has brought some more reds into play. Nicely played. Once he pots this blue, there are 3 reds that still pot in that configuration. So he will have to cannon into the reds again at some point. And he's got the angle on the blue to do that now if he wants to. He could come down just right of the pink, open that little area up. Again, would be hard to see how he wasn't on a red. That's the shot he's played. And he is on a red, but do you know, that's probably about as bad as it could have gone.
36.
Played the right shot there. Those reds were loose. Had every reason to think they were going to open a bit nicer than they have done. Can still pop this red with the rest, but controlling the cue ball for a colour has now gone quite complicated. That was good signs. That was good thinking.
Well,
that definitely used all the pocket, didn't it? And as that red blocked the path for the black, now he's walking around with purpose, so he must be able to pop the black. And those last few shots, although there was a bit of risk involved, has opened this frame right up now. Really should go ahead and take the frame here.
Just letting the noise die down on the other side of the divide and recomposing himself here.
Yeah, and of course that tells us, doesn't it, that
44.
These lads are going to get to finish this session with the place to themselves. The centre barrier will be raised at the end of this frame. Neither one of these players would be that experienced at playing here with just one table in play. It does change the dynamics of the room a little bit when that divider gets lifted. Be interesting to see how they both react to that.
$52. $53.
Etiquette dictates they will, of course, wait until the end of a frame. Some people sticking around. Some leaving. So there'd be too much distraction for the divide to go up until these guys have finished frame 7.
58. $59. 66. '67.
Really, really important moments in the context of the match here for Matt Selt. So far, so good. Desperately needed this frame, Shaun.
Yeah, he's taken these really well, you'd have to say. Certainly thinking about what's gone on so far in this match, to stand up, get your chance and take it in this manner is very impressive. And it sends a little message to Xiao Guodong that just says, if you mess up, I'm going to take the balls. I'm still here. I haven't gone away. I haven't given up just yet.
'82. '83.
These are good signs from the point of view of
90.
the Matt Selt fans. He's been positive
91.
and clear thinking. And on the verge of his second century of the match.
98.
Great response, isn't it? Great response. The crowd are being treated to some wonderful snooker here from both men. It's 4 centuries in the match. And a vital frame in which Matt Selt seems to have settled, reducing his arrears little by little.
104.
Well, what we've seen in this session, Shaun, bodes well in the early stages of day one. We had a record number of centuries at the qualifiers, and 4 from this match alone is not a bad start here at the Cruce.
Absolutely not. Of course, if we keep going the way we are, we could be breaking those records. Absolutely. And from Matt Selt's point of view, he hopes to continue it. He's won 2 frames. He's had 2 centuries. What he would give to come out of this session, just 1 behind at 5-4. Massive 2 frames coming up.
$125.
This has been a fabulous visit from Matt Selt. It really has.
131.
Ever demonstrative. Right, he's going to finish us off with an exhibition shot. Well, what a touch of class from Matt Selt. A little tap of the table. He's reduced his arrears and sent a message. He isn't beaten yet. 5-2 to Xiao Guodong.
Can I ask you to take your seats, please? The 8th frame. Matthew Salterburg.
So the penultimate frame of the session. And we are temporarily down to the single table setup on day 1. The match on the other side of the divide is finished. And those who have stayed now get some bonus frames. Cracking contest so far. 2 centuries apiece. Xiao Guodong worthy of his 5-2 lead, but big significance on the last 2, with Selt having just taken the 7th.
One.
Well, great pot. Cue ball travelling just too far for the black.
The yellow ball. Xiao Guodong 1. Thanks.
Well, Shaun, we weren't necessarily expecting the divide to go up this early on day 1. But just give us an insight into why you think this may have an impact on one of the 2 players we're still watching in this session.
Well, just the one table at the Crucible is hallowed turf, isn't it? And you get the whole place to yourself. You play in front of a bigger crowd. The atmosphere does seem to change. I don't know if that board, that divider has mystical powers, but the room, the atmosphere in the room changes. The acoustics change. It sounds different. You really get the full effect of the Crucible when that divider's up. The other thing it does is you're the player at the table when the divider comes up, plays finished on the other table, is it tells you that you're behind pace. And as the players now play, and they now know they've taken much longer with their allocation of frames than the other table has. It just puts you under it a little bit. Talking of being under it, Matt's taken over a minute now to think about this shot. He's in trouble here. He's got the 2-cushion thin edge escape that he's played a couple of times in this match already. Got that all wrong. That's a real bad mistake to make, to hit the red that thick on the first attempt. Somebody like a Marcel, John Higgins, and a lot of other players, they simply don't make that mistake. You can miss the red on the other side, you give the 4 points away, you get another go. You can't hit it the wrong side first go. That's a mental mistake.
One.
Certainly not a frame winning chance just yet. Black's tied up, pink's out of play, just got the blue and the baulk colours to work with, so something will have to change pretty quickly if he's to win the frame at this visit.
Six.
Might be an idea here to stop the cue ball where that red is, play the brown next, and play a cannon to pink or black. Try to develop those balls into open play.
7.
And he's got the angle on the brown to play off the 1 cushion into pink, or, as I say, down towards the black. Just try and make something happen. No real idea where they're going to finish. Can play for a loose red, but, as I say, not going far with just the baulk colours and the blue.
$11.
out of position now. And this was why I was suggesting earlier playing the cannon to pink or black and just giving yourself more options. You know, there was risk attached to those cannons, but the cannons that have to happen. And now that he's finished short on the blue, he can't get close to the next red. It just starts to snowball out of your control. I think on another day, in another venue, maybe in a less important match, you might play the yellow here and screw the cue ball back down to the reds. In fact, he is looking at the potting angle of the yellow. So fair play to Xiao for playing the aggressive shot. This is the correct shot. It was the correct shot, but it was the harder shot.
Xiao Guodong 12.
Still surprised he missed this. Missed it very thin. Didn't really get close to that. Not much to do with the cue ball. Chance missed from Xiao Guodong's perspective. And after Matt's previous frame and the break of 1-3-1, full of beans at the moment, I would think. Already looking at the cannon to the black, off the red just above to the left of it. And if this shot goes right, could be match on. Surprised he hit that so hard. As a very defensive way of playing this. Thought he might have just stroked it in gently. The cannon to the black was a natural. Knock it onto the corner and put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Trying to screw the cue ball out of there made the shot more difficult. It also tells your opponent that you didn't fancy the shot. And that's the problem in these matches and in these situations. It's all about the message you send to your opponent as well. You can't let them think that you're suffering.
Well, Xiao Guodong struck that with real confidence. One of his best long pots of the session so far.
Desperately wants to play the black here, but it's very, very hard to avoid cannoning into the yellow. And he can't really go for the yellow there. You see he's queuing over that red. That makes that shot missable. So the black's not a problem. Avoiding the yellow here is the trouble. Oh, he managed it very, very well. Now, how's his luck? Doesn't look great to me. I mean, he can pot the red. But what can he do with it?
8.
I guess he might be able to try and pot it and leave the cue ball there and have the black to the yellow pocket. Might be able to screw back a little bit and get to the yellow. After such a well-controlled shot on the black, he might have thought he'd be on something easier than this.
Nine.
Well, the length of time he took on that shot, indicative just how important these moments are. Marcel will be feeling a little more positive about this match after that Second century for 5-2. The last thing Xiao Guodong would want is to give his opponent a chance to finish the session back within 1, having led by 4.
Xiao Guodong. 9.
But the door is open again here for Matt Selt.
Yeah, he never seemed comfortable with that one to the left middle, did he? Now, Marcel can pot this red to the right middle, but it's very, very difficult. Guaranteed to leave a red. I wouldn't be surprised if he played a safety shot here. Yeah, don't blame him for that at all. Back in this match, although he's 3 frames behind, the way he won the previous frame with that 1-3-1 just tells us that he's still there. And if he could find a way in with a scoring chance in this frame and make it 5-3, what a massive frame we'd be in for the final frame of this session. So these are vital moments for Team Selt. Yeah, Xiao Guodong needs to be careful here because the standard safety shot of the red on the right-hand cushion, you hit that full ball off 2 cushions, knock it back down the table, cue ball to the ball cushion. That's the obvious shot. But you would be guaranteed to leave Matt Selt a chance to 2 shot-to-nothings at 2 reds near the pink and the yellow waiting over the corner. You couldn't risk doing that. That's why he hasn't already played that shot. He doesn't really want to move the red that's on the left-hand side cushion, just in case the frame goes scrappy. Yeah, so not a bad choice. He refused to play the red up the right-hand side of the table and leave the shot to nothings. May have lost the tactical advantage. Another expertly judged weight of cue ball to the centre of the ball cushion for Marcel. Shouldn't be too big a problem for Xiao Guodong to escape here. He can just knock this red up and down and leave the cue ball on this cushion at this end of the table. Matt desperately wants to go for the red to the left middle pocket. He's got the frame waiting for him, but it's far too risky. Just the safety shot. Well, I said safety. That red's running loose, and it's finished over the middle pocket. Anywhere but there. take your choice. Not sure if that's unlucky or a bad shot, but it's not how he wanted it.
How many more twists of drama have we got towards the end of this opening session?
One.
He won't be rushing this, Xiao Guodong. He wants to absolutely ensure that he does not give Marcel a chance to pull back to within one.
3.
He's done a lot of good work in this session. But his opponent is a stubborn character
4.
who hasn't given up.
Nine. 10.
Well, as we watch Xiao Guodong mop these reds up in open play and meander his way to a 4-frame advantage in this match with just 1 frame
15.
to go. If you're Marcel sat in the chair, it's now time to start prepping for the final frame of the session, because this frame should be gone. Use these next few moments to get yourself ready for a massive, massive fight
16.
in the last frame. If you could somehow get out 6-3, he'd take that, I think. There'd be a debrief with his camp and his coach, and they'd work out where it went right and where it went wrong, but
21.
6-3 sounds a lot better than 7-2.
22.
Yes, it took a great comeback at the qualifiers
27.
from that Selt to secure his 5th Crucible campaign. He's going to need to dig deep in the last of the session, assuming Xiao Guodong mops this up.
$33. $34.
Just double checking the scores. He's taken his advantage well from that red to middle left.
39. Xiao Guodong 39 and Threatre.
Marcel heading off to try and compose himself ahead of a huge last frame of the session for him. Xiao Guodong, 6-2 up.
Thank you. 9th and final frame of the session. Xiao Guodong to break.
Xiao Guodong, 4 up, 1 to play. It's a handsome lead. And that cue ball, indicative of the problems he's posed for Matt Selt, for whom this is a huge frame in the context of the match. The fifth was really big, and he did have chances to get back to 3-2. But Xiao Guodong has ensured himself a very, very healthy lead before they come back to finish tomorrow morning. Can he really, really turn the screw and hurt Matt Selt in this last frame of the session?
Well, Matt was very, very keen to come round and have a look at what he'd left. He's a little bit unlucky to have potentially left this plant to the left-hand corner pocket. Xiao's very interested in it as well. Well, he mustn't think he can get to it. It's definitely makeable, but you've got to be able to hit the red. So for a moment there, I think Matt was bemoaning his bad luck in his chair, but he's got away with it.
Well, he'll leave us in no doubt how he feels about that.
Yeah, very unlucky to see the red wobble in the pocket, go up and down the table, check back on itself, nearly goes in again in the yellow bag and rattles and leaves it over the pocket. But he did hit it very hard, didn't he? He did overdo it. He played the cue ball to finish right-hand side of the table to not leave the red by the middle pocket. Completely overhit it. So I know he's got the wry smile and he considers himself very unlucky, which he was. But he didn't play the shot how he wanted to in the first place. No, it doesn't look like anything's potable. We know that plant, those two reds are very close to the left-hand corner. So just a question here of whether he wants to play for a colour and try get to that plant, or does he want to play for an angle on a colour to split the reds? Oh, well, in the end, he chose neither. Now, how's that worked out? I think the blacks ended up blocking the pocket for the reds that come free there after the cannon to the pink. Black there gets nudged and is a blocker. The red above and to the right of the pink is potable. Not easy to get to that from the yellow. Brown is available. 2 cushions brings you down that side of the table. hand gets
7.
raised. That's not what he played, and you can see he's on choice of reds. Well, he had so much backspin on that the cue ball was able to zip back after potting the red for position on this black of a sorts anyway. Nothing to do with the cue ball naturally coming across the table for the red. Now it's just a question of where the black's going to go. Pink is occupying the black spot. Don't think any other spots are available. The referee just measuring to see whether the black can go above that red onto the pink spot. If not, it'll go at the base of the cluster. Forgive me, it goes behind its own spot. Got a bit carried away there, Rob. Forgot the rules.
Happens to the best of us.
15.
This has been a long session, coming up 2 3/4 hours.
Black ball.
Xiao Guodong will be acutely aware how much this frame would hurt his opponent.
23.
Well, Matt Selt needs to draw on the memories of forcing a decider against Barry Hawkins 10 years ago from 7-2 down. He's bounced back before, and he's going to have
24.
to bounce back again in this one.
He really zipped through the pack there, didn't he? Maximum screw back. Cue ball looked like it was going to drift off up the table, and then the spin takes effect. And he's really developed these into a frame-winning opportunity now.
31.
It's going to be a very uncomfortable afternoon and evening for Marcel as he tries to dig himself out of this hole mentally. Lots of work for his coach, Chris Henry, to do to get him ready
36.
for the session and the game tomorrow morning.
37.
For Xiao Guodong, he will be the total opposite of that. He will enjoy his afternoon and evening and probably be in the practice room later, just knocking a few balls around and enjoy his 7-2 advantage, should he take these reds that are in open play. Going to be a match, though, Rob, where the score doesn't really tell the full story of the match.
Yes, I agree. As is indicated, perhaps, by the fact that Matt Selt's got the highest break of the encounter with that excellent 1-3-1 for 5-2.
44.
That fifth frame was massive. It was the longest of the match so far, nearly half an hour. And that was
45.
Matt Selt's chance to get back to within one and start to put Xiao Guodong under quite a lot of pressure. But it went the way of his opponent. And Guodong has been in unforgiving mood since the fifth frame.
51.
And remember, this is a big deal for Xiao Guodong. Yes, he's here as the top seed, but he's only ever won one single match on the Crucible stage. A first round against Ryan Day back in 2017. Hasn't been here for 7 years. And he's closing in on being 3 frames away from a last 16 meeting against either John Higgins or Joe O'Connor.
Yeah, and it would stick in the throat a bit, that, wouldn't it, as a resident of Sheffield, lives here, practices here. Would be tough to take that every year, knowing the Championships was here and you're not in it. Maybe that's why we've seen him give maximum effort today in this session.
52.
Well, and as if to highlight what a great season it's been, in his previous 3 visits to the Crucible, he's only managed a century once. He's on 2 already in this session. This has been a much better performance than we've seen from him at the Crucible before.
Slight grimace just there came across the face of Xiao Guodong. He's just reached the point of no return in this frame, and as he asks referee Marcel Eckardt for the extended rest, it's going to be difficult to avoid cannoning into that bunch of 4. So retaining position on the colour isn't going to be straightforward here. He's only 3 shots away from the line in this frame. How does he get the cue ball out of there and onto a colour? Well, in the end, he decided pace was his friend, but is it? No!
Foul.
Marcel breathes again.
57.
Just
Matthew
as he
Selt.
got to the point of no return in the frame, it went complex, and in trying to get the cue ball out, off the pack, cannons the black, and in off. And now Matt Selt, what have you got left in the locker? What a difference 6-3 would be to 7-2. He was staring it in the face just moments ago. Can he get himself out of jail?
Cannot believe that. You cannot believe that. A wonderful chance for Matt Selt to get his hand on the table and just try and wrestle his way back to within 3.
1.
And Xiao Guodong could not get back to the table quickly enough. A great opportunity for Matt Selt right at the very end of the session. Not taken. That will hurt.
Yeah, it will hurt. Very, very much so.
7.
And I think that speaks to just how important those moments in the chair are, because psychologically, I think Matt had probably given up in this frame. He just assumed Xiao Guodong was going to take the frame. But just as we're saying that, what is going on here?
Guodong. 7.
I mean, he is over the line mathematically, 61 ahead, 59 up, but he complete lapse to let Matt get back out of his chair and potentially chase for snookers. What a mistake.
Well, that middle left pocket has seen huge errors from both of them.
One.
Well, Xiao Guodong will be relieved to see that red drop. And it is indeed a 5-frame cushion. 7-2 overnight. Xiao Guodong is 3 frames away from the last 16.